So today I'm going to be demonstrating how to tie the Carolina rig. So I don't know how many of you all like fishing, but if you like fishing, I'm sure you've all heard of the Carolina rig. It's a basic rig for mainly used for bass fishing, but I use it a lot for trout fishing and have good success with it that way too. But today I'm going to be demonstrating how to rig it up for bass fishing. So the first thing you need is a rod and reel, and today I have the Abu Garcia Black Max bait caster, and I got it on a Cabela's Pro Guide rod. And then I have it spooled up with, I think, 12-pound line. It might be 10, I can't remember, but 10 or 12-pound line, which is about the perfect line for bass fishing. So now that we have the rod and reel, the first thing you need for the Carolina rig is a sliding sinker. So today I'm going to be using like a 1/2 ounce egg sinker, but you can use any kind of sinker that slides up and down on the line. So the first step is you just take your line and put it through the center of the sinker, and now the sinker can slide up and down. And then this, you won't understand what it means now probably, but I'll explain in a minute. You need a small bead. You put it on after the sinker. So now the sinker and the bead can slide freely up and down the line. So what you have to have a way to stop them, so you need a barrel swivel. And I think this is a size 7 barrel swivel. So you take the end of your line, put it through one side of the barrel swivel. Then I'm going to be tying the improved cinch knot. I'll demonstrate how to do it the first time. So you pull it through, you have extra line on this side. You wrap it around your main line about 5 to 6 times. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Then you should have some extra line here and then a hole right there. You put it through the hole. Then it should look like this. You put it back through this hole. Then you pull the extra line, you pull it down tight, and you can see it pulled down good there. And then you need either a knife or nail clipper or something to cut your line. Today I have nail clippers, so I just cut the extra line off. So the reason that bead is so important is whenever you cast your weight and the bead will slide up and down, so the bead comes down and doesn't hit the swivel hard. If the sinker comes down, it could break your knot and it could cause you to either lose a fish or break your line. So now that's the first step's completed. Now you need some more leader line. This is 12-pound test, and I'm going to get probably about 2 foot. 18 to 24 inches is about perfect, but you can make your leader longer or shorter depending on what you're fishing for and where you're fishing at. So I'm going to do it the same way as I did the first knot on the barrel swivel. You just put it through the hole there. I'm going to tie the same knot, the improved cinch knot again. It's a pretty simple knot, but it's probably my favorite knot. I never lost any big fish because of my line breaking. So although it's simple, it works good, so no need to make it more complicated than it has to be with the polymer knot or something like that. So pull it down tight. That one pull down tight again. Then every time you tie the improved cinch knot, you got some extra line you need to clip off. So now I've got the first 2 steps completed. Now the last step you have to do is you have to take your hook. So I'm rigging this up for bass fishing, so I've got a decent sized hook here. But I use the Carolina rig a lot for trout fishing, so I would use a smaller hook. Or if I was going to go catfishing and use live bait, I would use a bigger hook. So you can change this rig out depending on what you're fishing for with bigger and smaller tackle, depending on where and what you're fishing for. So I'm tying the same knot again because a lot of people like to tie the polymer knot and other knots like that, but I think keep it simple if it works and don't make it overcomplicated. So I've got the knot tied again, got to cut my extra line off. So now I've got everything tied up, it's rigged up. Now I have just a 3-inch Senka here from Gary Yamamoto. So you get the hook in one hand, the worm in the other. You take the hook, put the hook right at the top of the worm. Then you just thread the worm up on the hook like this. Then now it's finished, you're ready to fish. So if you're bass fishing with the Carolina rig, the best places to fish is where it's kind of deep and there's a lot of rocks. You just cast it out, let it go to the bottom, Then you just slowly retrieve it, just pick it up off the bottom and move it a couple feet at a time, and then wait for a bass to grab it and thump it. So if you like fishing and you never tried the Carolina rig before, I would highly recommend you try it out. Like I said, it works good for bass fishing, but I've had a lot of luck trout fishing with it. And if you like cat fishing, it works good if you use live bait with a bigger hook and a bigger weight, if you're fishing in the Kanawha River or the Ohio River. So if you like fishing, I recommend everybody tries it out. And if nobody has any questions, that's the end. Thank you.